Okay, today is April 16th. That means tax day behind us, so we can move on to other financial matters, right? Ones that don't necessarily give us deadlines. Well, our expert in elder law and estate planning, David Carrier, is back with some important advice on how to protect ourselves and our families. And here we have our favorite characters.
That's
this time
right.
around, Mama and Papa.
That's correct. See, the problem with what we do, right? There is no deadline. People don't have to worry about April 15th, you know. Now it's in the past. We don't have to worry about April 15th till next year, but we will worry about it next year. And so I say that the tax guy is kind of like this character, right? You know, he'll bite your ankle, you know, he's not very pleasant, and he shows up once a year.
Right.
And you know it's coming, and you know you got to deal with it.
And most people plan for it because we're sort of forced to. Our employers withhold
the money?
All that, or we make estimated tax payments, those sorts of things.
Exactly right.
So sort of on an every year basis, we're making a plan.
That's right. Because you're forced to, right?
Exactly.
But nobody forces you to worry about long-term care, and yet, for our clients, right?
It's not the little guy that's going to get you. It's the big one hiding behind his back.
Right.
And that is our friend,
long-term
care.
care. You know, what is it that wipes people out? Well, it isn't the fact that they took a percentage of your income. The fact is that when you start down the long-term care path, whether it's $4,000 a month for at-home care or assisted living, or the $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month it costs at a skilled nursing facility, that's what wipes you out. You know what we found, this is just my impression of the thing, having done this for a little bit, 30 years. My impression of the thing is most people pay in the first month of long-term care more than they paid in the last 10 years in taxes. Because it's not just a slice of your income, and for a lot of our clients, they haven't been paying taxes for a while because their income is so low, but they've got the assets. Well, now watch the assets fly out the door, and there is no deadline on that. There is no, okay, you got to do it now or else.
Right.
So what we try to do, that's why we do these workshops every week. You know, we try to make it easy, but there is no hammer to that. But think of the relief that you feel that now that April 15th is in the rearview mirror.
Right.
That's how our clients feel when we've got the planning done.
You know, and I think it's interesting too, David, because it is such a complex issue to face if you don't have an expert to help guide you through it, because every one of our estates is very different. Each one of our financial houses may be in different order. We need protection, no matter whether we have a small nest egg or whether we've amassed a large one.
Well, it's your nest egg, isn't it? I mean, we deal with people who've got quite a bit, and we've got deal with people who have less. But it is your nest egg. It's important to you, and we don't need that much money. We don't really need that number of dollars. You know, now we're
okay. Yeah.
Now more special effects.
Okay.
You don't need that many dollars really to make a difference. But one of the things that, and I just had a fellow who's a immigrant from Russia. He was in. Now he's a client, but he was like, why should I listen to you?
Yes.
You know, I've been to all these workshops and seminars and all the rest, and you're very different than what they're telling me, and why should I listen to any particular person? I think that's a pretty fair question, you know. I mean, yeah, I went to Notre Dame in Georgetown, so I'm really smart, you know. Well, who cares, okay? I think it gets down to sort of a common sense thing, and one of the things that it seems to me might matter when someone's thinking about this is it was an Army guy who told me this one time. He was not happy with my level of motivation.
Oh, okay.
And so he told me the story of the pig and the chicken. He said, Carrier, what'd you have for breakfast this morning? I said, well, you know what I had. There's the only thing in the mess hall is bacon and eggs. He said, okay. He goes, well, you have to decide, are you a chicken or a pig? And I'm like, what?
Okay.
Chicken or pig? He says, well, it's like this, he says. He goes, they both made a contribution to your breakfast.
Okay, yeah.
The chicken made a contribution, the pig made a contribution. But only one of them made a commitment.
Okay.
Do you see?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, the chicken got out of there alive. And the pig, well...
Not so much.
Not so much.
That's the commitment. That's the commitment. And that's really... And you decide if that's important to you or not. I don't know. But it's not like we do divorces in the morning, parking tickets at noon.
Exactly,
divorce,
yeah.
You know,
you're all in with
bankruptcy.
this. And again, it is such a complex issue, and it's so important. You really get one shot to do this right.
That's correct.
And to make sure that you're fully protected. Do you have time to answer a quick viewer question?
Sure, by all means.
We got an email from one of our viewers who was just wondering about guardianship. Who should a guardian of a disabled person, what should they do if a healthcare facility is not complying with a court order?
And that happens. You know, you get these, especially with powers of attorney, when you already have the court order where you're supposed to turn over information, where they're supposed to comply and they don't, you just have to go back to court, get an injunction, especially when you're already in that situation. You've already got the court order. So it's not a matter of, jeepers, now I got to start an action, I got to do all this stuff. And our probate judge, Dave Murkowski, Chief Probate Judge Murkowski, I mean, he is very alive to the importance of complying with his orders. So, you know, he does not suffer that stuff gladly. So you can bring him back to court. Now, the problem is always, how far do I rock the boat? Because mom is there 24/7, and if I push too hard, if I'm this or that, how will they treat my loved one?
You wonder about retribution, repercussions, those sorts of things.
Exactly,
and so just understand that there are some protections that you have legally, and you want to make sure that your loved one is treated
but I got to
with
tell
care
you,
and respect.
it's really not an issue, okay? It hasn't been an issue. If somebody's doing something wrong, the administrators that we've worked with are very eager, very anxious to get it right. You know, you usually have one person who's doing that, and so don't be ashamed, don't be afraid to exercise your legal rights.
Yeah, that's important. And you have these life plan workshops, which I think are a great starting point. These, by the way, are free of charge to attend, and it's a great starting point. There's no obligation for people who come. Why don't you tell us exactly about these, because you run them pretty much all the time.
We do them every single week, and you know, there's a theory that you're supposed to tell people, oh, we only do them very special, you know, we're not here. Well, you know, we're all in on this stuff. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I'm not going to be here next week. I will be, you know? So it's just an opportunity as things happen in your life. And that's how we find out, that's how people come. Something happens, we get a diagnosis, we're nearing retirement, I heard about Uncle Charlie, or there are things like that. And it's not a matter of, okay, now you got to wait 3 months until we do another circus. It's like, no, every single week.
Every single week.
We're just the utility. We're just there when you need us. And that's part of being all in. That's the commitment that we make. You call us, we're answering the phone. You know, it's not a recorded message. Well, call it midnight, it'll be a recorded message, sorry.
But you're there, and you're all in, and people get the opportunity to engage and interact with an expert staff who's been doing this for many decades.
Many years,
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, more of 8 West when we come back. Don't go away.
Are you West?